Bob, Luke, and Rob here. We're here to watch Love Hurts to see if we love it or if it hurts watching it.
Welcome to Keys in the Cooler, where we talk about new movies, old movies from my stash, and anything else that we want to talk about. Today we're going to talk about the new movie that just came out that we just saw called Love Hurts.
And boy, does it ever.
Hi.
We just got back from the theater where we watched the movie, and we're going to share with you our thoughts. We will have a spoiler-free discussion about the movie. We will talk about the pros and the cons, and then we will give it our Keys in the Cooler rating. All right, down to the brass tacks. We're going to talk about what this film entails without giving it away. What we're dealing with is a realtor who used to be a hitman, and he all of a sudden has his past life catch up with him. In the midst of all this, there's a little love story.
Aww.
The stars of this movie, the main one is Ke Huy Quan from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
And he also was as a youngster in Goonies and Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom.
Oh,
The little kid with like pictures of power that whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, he.
Dr. Jones!
I thought he did. I think he did a bang up job in both of those movies.
He was also a smaller role in Encino Man. I don't know if you guys knew that, but he was in that as well.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Yeah. There was also another person, I will just mention, she was kind of the secondary character, but the actress Ariana DeBose, she was the love interest in this movie. So let's get into our pros and our cons, boys. What did you like about this movie?
Well, speaking of action, I mean, this movie did not disappoint. I mean,
Did it show that love hurts?
well, for the most part, there's a lot of hurts in this movie. I don't know if it was necessarily love, but there's a lot of pain that was garnered in this movie as far as the action and villains and everything going on. I mean, it did not disappoint with the gore, if you're a gore fan. I mean, it was kind of in your face in that regard. It doesn't shy away from any of that. And alone, I'd say the sequences of action kind of overtake the movie at one point. I mean, it's just non-stop action from one wall to the next, and different scenes that you get to watch. And I was not disappointed one bit. I mean, it was definitely worth seeing all the action, and it's not like it was too much and it took away from the story. It was part of the story. It was all directly related to what was going on in the movie, and I think it was spot on as far as how much that was well done and well made.
So that's pretty good on the action standpoint. I'm actually curious, was this movie rated R? I'm assuming it was.
It has to be.
It has to be. So on that note, Luke, from a family-friendly perspective, what
Yeah.
would you say?
A lot of cursing. It's
Really?
yeah, a lot.
Really?
Like so much.
Well, I think there was a phone call, and I turned to Luke and I said, I think there were over 20 F-bombs in just that one phone call.
Yeah. No, this movie is absolutely not family friendly, in the slightest. I actually thought in the beginning that, hey, maybe they were keeping it family friendly. I thought there were some opportunities there. Nope, not at all. No nudity,
No,
so
no.
that was a perk. So from the nudity standpoint, that was good. As Robin mentioned, the gore, there was plenty of fighting, plenty of gore.
Yeah, enough to
It's
go
just-
around.
Yeah, I mean, with the playful end of things, it's kind of like a playful killing movie. So yeah, family friendly, no. I mean, it could be worse.
Right.
I think I've seen the bottom of the barrel in that end, and this isn't it. But it is not family friendly.
I really thought the comedy in this was good. I mean, there were
Yeah.
there were times when I was laughing out loud, and it was just. I mean, the action itself is comedic, and Key, we'll call him Key, he plays Marvin. Really, you know, I look at him and he's short round. I loved him as short round. But the fact that he's transitioning to this Bruce Lee-like character acting is phenomenal. And the martial arts stunts that he did, I was amazed at how precise and fluent his motions were. It didn't seem forced. It seemed like he's been doing this since he was short round. And I always wanted him and Harrison Ford to get back together and do, like, this is what happened to short round as he got older. And to me, this is what
Yeah.
I would have loved to see in a sequel with him and Harrison Ford, and see him come out and do stuff like this. It was that I loved the way he played his
But I would say, like, and to add to what you were saying is, like, it kind of throws you off in the movie because you're not expecting all of that.
Right.
When it all of a sudden you think, okay, well, he knows some stuff, but not
like
as
that,
much as he was doing. I
Actually,
mean, it was amazing.
It was throwing me off repeatedly. I thought, I mean, it didn't help that we just watched Operation Condor.
Yeah, right.
He looked like Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
The
In
way
face-
mannerisms.
And the style of it is
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very similar.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of, I'm like, oh, he's like filling in for kind of.
And some of the comic aspects that you
Yeah.
mentioned were also spot on with Jackie Chan.
It was, yeah. It
Kind
felt
of
like he
action
could.
and what he does in movies.
They had
There's a
really
lot to
witty
take in.
camera angles. I actually appreciated that.
Yeah, like the scene I was just talking about, and
Yeah.
I turned to you in the theater and I was like,
Really?
"Well, that was
It was creative. I
yeah.
liked it actually. That
I
was
was
that was a
like,
neat.
wow,
I
that-
like the way they did that. They
the
were
whole
creative.
thing with the award he received and
Yeah.
what they
Oh,
did
yeah.
what they did with that during the fight.
Yeah.
It's like
It's amazing
it's like the
that yeah.
perspective of the award.
And I was quite amazed that it stayed intact for as long
Yeah,
as it did
right,
as
right.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it was a really fun movie from that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as entertainment value, I mean, you got your money's worth. I mean, it was
It was only
nonstop.
like an hour and 20 something minutes. It wasn't a long movie, but I thought that was good because
It was paced well.
yeah, with the type of movie it was, I think if it was too long, it would have dragged out, and we would have had those sleepy moments like I mentioned in Operation Condor. And I think they cut that just right. So areas of improvement. If you don't mind, I'd like to start the areas of improvement
Yeah.
because it started out right in the beginning. The film takes place in
Yeah,
Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
of all places.
during February, Valentine's Day, and there is so much green.
No snow.
No snow.
No cold.
The guy is on a bicycle going to work.
With no extra layers on.
Nope, he has, I think, a sport coat.
Spoiler: that's not Milwaukee.
No, and,
We don't live far from there.
right. And I'm like, it took me a while to be like, don't let this ruin the movie. Because anybody else watching this from anywhere else in the world probably doesn't know that in February in Milwaukee, it's probably 10 to 20 degrees outside.
I'm still doubting that there's hitmen
And if
in
you're
Wisconsin,
right-
Milwaukee.
Yeah, and there's no hitmen like that
That we know.
that we know of.
And if you're riding a bike, you're face planting.
I don't know. I do see people riding bikes,
Right, but
There's a lot of ice to
but
deal
they're
with.
wearing layers.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're in a snowmobile
They've
suit.
got the mask on that's got their whole face covered with just their eyes showing if they're riding a bike in February in Wisconsin. Whoever was in charge of scouting locations,
Why Milwaukee?
why Milwaukee? And
Pick wherever you were.
yeah, I mean at the end of the movie it was dark and the roads were wet like it was raining. go to Seattle or
I would
you know,
like to
someplace.
see. I would love to hear if there is stuff on the when you get the actual copy of the movie on DVD or it comes out and there might be some director talk. What that angle was, why they use Milwaukee for the movie.
For me, I don't know if this is a con per se. I mean, it kind of matched the movie, but the human durability factor was really amazing.
that he
Yeah.
didn't break more stuff.
Bones? I mean, people in general.
Yeah.
Wow, they can really handle punishment. Depending on what point the plot would needed them to be.
Well, especially Keith, you know, the Marvin character, the fact that he didn't break any bones with what was happening to him.
Yeah.
Not only
See?
that, but if the plot calls for it, he can get knocked out instantly.
It was just
Teasing on
amazing
spoilers.
what he all went through. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The man didn't touch.
And he doesn't feel pain either.
Yeah, and I mean, just the scene alone in his office
Maybe left
when
cousins.
when
True.
not to spoil the movie
Change the
when he
theme.
starts seeing of his past come and catch up with him, and then all of a sudden someone's there, and there's some violence. He undertakes some violence, and there's something pretty in your face. I don't want to give away the movie, but I mean it's a lot to take
that's
in.
it. Let's just give away the whole movie.
You know, I mean, the gore's there, but I mean, how do you? I mean, that's amazing that
I'm
he
actually-
even was able to function after that.
I'm actually trying to remember anyone hurting realistically for the injuries that were occurring.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did. I don't know if love actually hurts.
I don't think it does.
I can't think of anybody actually reacting to pain, even in some of the
Well,
ending scenes.
Yeah, there
Like,
was one.
well,
there was
Wow.
some, but
Just some limping, some
passing
dragging
out,
away,
yeah.
passing out, maybe, but that's minor.
I know.
If you're
I got-
if you're in a dating relationship, that's minor for what you're gonna deal with. Anyways, for love hurts. Anyway,
But I did remember one of my big cons as well. Now, the title of the movie is,
Love hurts.
yeah, it really does hurt.
there is a song called Love Hurts
Yeah, they didn't play it at all.
by Nazareth.
Yeah,
This would have been the greatest opportunity to do a modern version by some modern artist
Yeah.
of that song,
Oh, yeah.
which would have probably been a huge hit.
how did
Or
they
even
miss
at the
that?
ending credits or something.
Right, and I was like, I was
expecting
waiting
it.
it. Yeah, I was expecting it.
I don't know how they missed that.
The-
How did they
the
miss
song-
Probably
that?
didn't get permission.
Yeah, that
Probably.
too. That's probably what it
The
was.
song they had at the end, when I'm just like, "Where's the Love Hurts song?" And
I keep
yeah,
hearing the chorus in my head.
Well, speaking of songs, I did love the movie's music
Yeah, it's good music.
throughout. It was really good.
yeah. it kind of
Anytime a
made it
movie,
jovial.
yeah, they have and like montages of violence going on, and then they're playing some really good music behind it. I love that. That's when you do that in a movie. I'm like right there going, yeah, dude, that's fun. That's a lot of fun.
So, any other cons, guys?
One con, I just thought the love story stuff again. I'm not a fan of all that when you're trying to do violence in the same
Genre.
and then you try to I think you're trying to distract the viewer from the violence, I guess is maybe what it's serving, but it kind of was a little overdone.
Yeah, the fact that they made it a Valentine's Day movie it's almost like they had to do that, but it did seem like they had to do it.
Yeah, well, it was obvious. It
Yeah,
was
it
obvious
was
what
like,
they were doing more than they could have.
right.
Kind of had it as an undertone,
Yeah.
but it was like in your face that okay,
Yeah.
well, it's around Valentine's Day. There you go.
I didn't really see the chemistry between
No, that's
Marvin and Rose. It just,
no. It felt a little shoehorned.
it didn't. See
Presumptuous,
the-
maybe.
Plastic,
Yeah.
like kind of
Yeah.
like fake.
Yeah.
Now's the time of the show where we do the keys in the cooler rating. We're going to each give our ratings from 1 to 5 keys, 1 being really bad, 5 being really good, award worthy. Could be just really good acting or something like that, or we think that it should be maybe an Academy Award winning movie. And we have everything in the middle. Half keys do count too. We will start with Luke this time on your key rating.
Well, I'm gonna give it a 2.5. It's not a bad movie, but overall, I like depth, I like purpose, I like point. There was barely any of that. The abundance of curse words, the lack of family friendliness. It's kind of a so what movie, entertaining, but I'm gonna give it 2.5.
Sounds good. I will go next. I would say I'm going to give it a 3. Because of the fact of the cursing really brought it down for me. I think this could have been easily a 4 for me. I compare it to Operation Condor, which I gave it 3.5. I'd say it's a level down from that, just for the fact of they could have easily made it a better movie by cutting that all out. And also that whole love story thing that Rob talked about was a little too cheeseball for me. Rob?
I also kind of rated it a little lower, 2.5 for me, because I really like, and that's what got it to the 2.5 for me, is the action was definitely there, but how they forced a lot of stuff with the love things and maybe the real estate customer stuff, and just kind of was distracting from the action and what was going on. It just at times was kind of discombobulated, in my opinion. It was disconnected, and it didn't flow like it should have.
So overall, Love Hurts. It didn't hurt to watch it,
No.
but it also wasn't one that we loved to watch. It was just kind of, it sat there.
Love kinda.
Love kind of hurt.
Just kinda.
Yeah, you gotta put some heat on it, you know.
Love requires effort. That was a movie, right?
Yeah, that was too long for
Well,
the title. It was called Love Requires Effort, but it was a little too long. So
Let that be a lesson to you viewers. If you want to get involved in a relationship and you can handle the gore and you can handle being thrown around in the room a few times by your significant other, then I think love is worth it. In this movie, it was not established. Love is not that hurtful. I think you can survive it.
Okay, Rob.
Go for it.
Our next movie that we are going to review, which we picked out of the cooler last time, is going to be Superman 2, the Donner Cut.
I
looking
cannot
forward to
wait.
that.
I
Yeah.
cannot wait for this movie. I love that
I watched it when I
whole.
was very young.
Yeah.
Now, so you've never seen the Donner Cut.
I've not.
Okay, so this is going to be a first for Luke. I want to take this time to thank my co-hosts, Luke and Rob, for
Thanks for
joining
having
me.
me.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm Bob, and we will see you next time on another episode of Keys in the Cooler. Where are the keys?
They're in the cooler.
We are so happy that you could join us. If you found this episode to your liking, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel. We would love you to join our Facebook group to continue discussing this movie. Our group is called Keys in the Cooler with no spaces. We hope to see you soon.